Psych K, we do what we call balances, and the balances are meant to get your brain into what's called a whole brain state. And when that happens, that's when your subconscious mind can expand, and you can either, the two main balances we work with is like one, to help you peacefully unattach from those triggering or stressful habits or memories or behaviors. Go in a new direction. It's like you've been stuck in something for so long, and then all of a sudden you can just move on. And
Mm.
imagine how powerful that is. And
Mm-hmm.
then if I work with you from, more than a session or two or three, then we really get to talk about what you want. And from what you want, then we can create new programs in your subconscious mind, which, I mean, that's where it's at because you could be talking yourself into something, giving yourself pep talks, trying so hard. But if you don't have this subconscious program already in your mind, like, say, I deserve to be seen. It's safe to be seen for who I am. It's safe to be who I am. My voice matters. What I say matters. My voice has value. I have value. And you're just trying to talk yourself into that shit. It's going to be impossible or very, very, very difficult. And you're going to have to work so much harder just to like maybe front something that you're not even believing.
Are you done people pleasing? Done comparing yourself to every woman on your Instagram feed? Done dating men who give you the bare minimum effort and somehow convincing yourself that it's enough? Done playing small so you can fit into spaces that were never built for you in the first place? Good. You are in exactly the right place. Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, the podcast for women who are ready to stop settling and start showing up fully, confidently, and completely unapologetically in every area of their lives. I'm your host, Morgan Barkis, confidence coach for women, author, speaker, and exotic dance instructor with a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I have built my confidence the hard way, speaking up for myself when it's scary, feeling sexy in my body when everything around me said I shouldn't, traveling alone, moving across the country by myself multiple times, dating with standards, knowing what I want and asking for it without apology. I have been in the mess and I have come out the other side, and now I coach women on how to do the same. This podcast is for the woman who is done waiting for permission, done waiting until she is skinnier, more polished, less complicated, or finally chosen by someone who keeps her guessing. She is smart, she is capable, and she is exhausted from trying to hold it all together while quietly falling apart inside. This is not a podcast about toxic positivity or 5 steps to a better morning routine. This is real talk about confidence, dating, body image, self-worth, and what it actually takes to become a woman who does not settle ever again. I'm glad you're here. If you're like me, you're listening at 1.5 speed while doing other things. So let's get into it. I would like to start with the fact that you have 24 years of experience. So I have, you and I met in a mastermind, and I feel like a lot of people are newer to what they're exploring. Like they've been in a different career and now they're shifting, or they've had something shift in their life and they want to be able to bring that to other people. And I mean, for you, you're like, I've been practicing for a really long time and now I'm just figuring out the online space and how to change. So talk to me about the 24 years of experience. What have you been doing, Krishna?
I love that you asked me that because no one's asked me that so far, but I have been doing so much. I'm really quite happy never being online, but I'm here in that mastermind showing up how to like, master that messaging so that it can be explained in a sentence or two what I get to do because nobody else does what I get to do. So I started off as a doctor of learning medicine, did that for, I mean, I still do it sometimes, mostly acupuncture and energy work. I've been doing that for 24 years. And before pandemic, I had to shift like everyone else, but also before pandemic, I was like just wanting to grow, evolve, change my expression, serve in a like different way because growth is really important to me. And so I'd already been researching, listening to podcasts about the subconscious mind, heard about the process that I was trained in, became obsessed because I started to understand the subconscious creates 97% of our lives. And it's where our behaviors and our habits and our patterns and our memories are stored. And so it was something just like a light bulb that went off that was like, hey, follow that. And I would say there are three things in my life that I just followed and trusted 100%. The first was acupuncture school. The second was becoming a mom. And then the third was training in the subconscious. So I looked up the process I was trained in, found out there was one person here in Portland, Oregon, offering sessions at that time. Went and saw her. The process is called Psych K. I don't love the name, but it stands for psychology and kinesiology, and it was created by a psychologist. I came and saw that person. I actually ended up buying her house, so I live and work out of her house. She taught Psych K here for 12 years and lived for 25, and she's an incredible human being. So there's a lot of magic in this house. And I knew that I wanted to train in it, but that session actually didn't do anything for me because she, as amazing as she is, and she was my teacher of 3 out of the 4 trainings, I didn't feel seen or heard with her. And she had a lot going on to her credit, but I believe that in healing we heal when we're seen and we're heard and we're witnessed. And so fine, but I still knew I wanted to train. So as COVID hit, I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if she's teaching those classes." And sure enough, she was. So I came here in her house and did 3 out of the 4 trainings and started to offer. We do balances in that work, so okay, and started offering just one of the balances that we do a lot is for helping people peacefully unattach from behaviors, patterns, or memories or stress very quickly, very simply. And you're not hypnotized. It's not like hypnotherapy at all. And it's just so easy and quick that I could do this with my patients who are coming to see me for acupuncture. And then I started getting so much feedback without even asking about how much this was changing people's lives, like in ways that they hadn't been able to make changes before. So I literally feel that I was led by God or something bigger than me because I didn't really know what I was getting into. But then I was like, oh, this is like the stuff, right? And then COVID hit, and so everybody became afraid of the unknown. Everybody became triggered. Everybody started feeling unsafe. Not everyone, I didn't. But that was the work that needed to come through because, I mean, if there's anything I felt totally trusting of in my life, it's being a practitioner and guide. And so that's what I've been doing. My daughter's 17, so I've been momming as well. Um, yeah, in a nutshell.
And who was little Krishna? Like, where did she grow up? Were you always, I feel like you're witchy in the best way. Like, you're like this ethereal person to me. And I don't know you enough to know a lot about you. And just your presence when we're on Zoom calls together or looking at your website, I'm like, she's kind of witchy in a really like sexy spiritual way. So, who are you as a little Krishna and like what lit you up? What made you curious? What kind of kid were you? And then obviously your path now, I feel like everything leads somewhere. And so take me back even further.
Yeah, I feel so seen by you already. I am very witchy, but I was raised by white Catholic people, and so that was not acceptable. You were like, definitely, I was raised to like fit in where I didn't belong and say yes to all the things I didn't want to do to be a good person and a good girl and never
Wait, when you
say
say white
no.
Catholics, what is your ethnic background then?
Well, I was a love child conceived by a one night stand back in the 70s. My
Mhm.
mom was very young, she was 20, and I was conceived from, and my biological father was like a cover band singer in hotels, like Ramadas and shit. Um, and they had been friends. And as she tells the story, and this can be a separate conversation, but like the lessons that I came in to learn as a human were like, my mom got pregnant with me, and the way she tells the story is that she wasn't conscious when that happened. And so my grandparents did not know what to do with her when she got pregnant. My
Mm.
biological father didn't want anything to do with her anymore. He already had a wife. And so my mom at the age of 20, and I love my grandparents, Morgan, like they just didn't know what to do. But they kicked her out of town to go live with her older brother, my uncle, until she came back with a husband. And so my mom got kicked out of her tribe and she was feeling unsafe and she was isolated and abandoned. And so all those wounds we actually learn through our moms in utero, like their safety, we learn as our safety. And
Mhm.
so I came in as a very old soul, obviously, to like contract those lessons. I'm a spiritual being, not a religious being, which is why I never fit in growing up. But that cover band singer, who was Filipino, and my mom is French and Belgian. So to answer your question, that's my background. And while I hadn't connected at all to that Filipino ancestry, recently I have, just in like my own meditation of like, oh, actually the mother line of my biological father has such big medicine. And if you've ever met Filipino women, they're just like so warm and loving and caretaking, like a generalization, but like literally every single one I've ever met, I just like love immediately. Um, and so it's been a really beautiful thing to like learn how to connect with my ancestry in that way, even though I don't have any interest in like trying to connect with my birth dad or anything like that. So
What
I
about birth
was,
mom? Are you?
yeah, yeah. My birth mom and I have had like definitely a lot of struggles because I don't think she ever really knew how to handle me because I came in as this like very big energy, like wise soul, but like a lot of confusion. That was like the theme when I was younger because I was raised by this white Catholic family, but I was the only brown kid, and my mom has 16 brothers and sisters,
Oh,
right? And my grandma was like 5'3" or 5'2", like she's tiny, and she had 17 children. My mom was number five. And so something that stands out is like a family reunion picture where it's like everybody's white and I'm in the middle and I'm like the brown kid looking so darn cute, like in the
with
sun.
these big eyes, yeah.
Yeah. And so think about that, like all the lessons that, you come into this world needing to navigate. And so that's obviously why I get to guide people the way I get to guide now is because I had to learn how to navigate all that. But yes, a lot of confusion because I did have a lot of swagger. I was pretty, I was popular, but I also had this like messaging at home that was very confusing. And
Mm.
then some things, just like kids can be assholes, but some messaging that got reinforced too that was confusing with the pretty popular, lots of swagger, definitely witchy, but didn't know what that was back then, right?
Krishna, how old are you?
51.
Okay, so I'm 45, and I asked because I'm thinking my mom and I are really into Oprah. We loved Oprah when I was in high school. It was 5 days a week. Whatever we're doing, we got to wrap it up so we can go watch Oprah. Oftentimes, my mom would fold clothes while we were watching Oprah, and I feel like at that time she brought on a lot of really interesting people on her show. Like my mom really liked Gary Zukav, and we really liked Louise Hay. We liked Don Miguel Ruiz and the Four Agreements, and my mom and I would end up then sitting down by the river. I grew up in the country, and so my brother was like watching sports on TV, and my mom and I would sit on the dock by the bay, literally, and talk for hours about life. I did not grow up in a religious family. Um, we were more like do good, be good. Like be a good person, care about the earth, love animals and your people, and and she and I would just talk about life, and so I feel like I was very supported in my curiosities about life and humans and sex. And I mean, we talked about everything. And I just feel like you're one of those people that's really deep and thoughtful and probably had a lot of questions. And like you said, curiosity. Where did you go with it? Did you journal? Did you have anyone to talk to really get into this? I feel like you're a very spiritual, soulful human.
No, that's a great question. And no, I did not. I didn't. I was the person that everyone came to, right? Like even my own mom, I was definitely parentified. She was so young, and her soul is so young. She's like a baby. She's so naive. Still,
And
when you
you
say
came
that
out like,
to the
Mom, I
person,
think I need to parent you.
not really. She was just kind of like, you be the parent. You take the responsibility. Okay. Um, I just was that person that the people came to. So I didn't really have a safe space to talk with people to. I mean, there were people in my lives that stood out as like being safe, but I don't know, we weren't really taught to like talk about things.
Mm.
Very, very Christian, very Catholic. Not like the celebratory type of Christ consciousness that we get to see a lot today, depending on what you tune into, but like a lot of martyrdom and shame. Like going to church was not fun. It was like something you dreaded. It was heavy. It was not so great. So I didn't learn that until later on. I'd say acupuncture was the first thing in my life that I just followed, and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And I didn't even question it 1 second, and had a beautiful career because of that. It's just meant to be. So
How
no, I
did
didn't
you
find that
find
till later in
it?
life.
How did you find acupuncture? Did you seek it out and go, I need acupuncture, and wow, this is really cool? Or like what made you interested in it?
Yeah, I get asked that one a lot too, but I was just very young. I was like 21 or something, working as a waitress in Seattle at the time, and
Yeah.
just kind of like taking classes for fun, like Shakespeare and writing and stuff like that. And I was like, I wonder what I'm going to do with my life type thing. And then I read like a quarter page of an article about ancient Chinese medicine and like how it's great for avoiding surgery and prescriptions. And my mom had just had vertigo. She was just finishing law school. She went back to school late. And all the doctors could do with her was keep giving her drugs. And she was bedridden for like weeks. And so it was already in my mind, right? That like, wow, that's like all they can do for you. And so I read that article and I was like, that's a really cool thing. And something again just like sparked intuitively, like, thing. I looked into it. And this was like a long time, Morgan. Like people weren't just acupuncturists everywhere you look. This was like, it was still illegal actually in 13 states to be an acupuncturist because they didn't have licensing boards yet. And so it was like renegade style in a lot of states. But I looked into it in Seattle. There were two schools, master's program, private education, 100 grand, which I mean, 100 grand is still a lot, but like back then, it was like a lot. And
That's a
I
lot of
just was like, I know. And so then I was like, okay. And then these two people came into my restaurant right after that, and they were talking about acupuncture. And again, people didn't just talk about acupuncture back then. It turned out they worked in one of the schools, and I was like, well, can you recommend like a book or something about how it works? I recommended one. I went and got it, loved it, didn't understand it all, but I was like, cool. And then right after that, this couple came in for dinner, and they were just like so cool right away, like OG before everybody was trying to do this, like so peaceful on their motorcycle, tattooed, but like Zen, right? Before people were doing this everywhere or trying to. And they just had this long dinner with me, like 3 hours, and we just had all this rapport. And then when they were done, they were like, well, what do you do besides work here? And I was like, well, I know this is really weird, but I'm thinking about going to acupuncture school. And they were like, should we tell her? And they were both about to graduate from acupuncture school. They asked me to have a drink in the bar with them. And I was like, oh, I can't. I got to finish up work here or whatever. So they left me a message at work. The guy did a couple days later because we didn't have cell phones back then. That's how old I am. So they left a message at work just being like, we're having a barbecue. Please come. Bring friends if you want. And I went and like just loved everyone there and felt so at home for the first time in my life. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Morgan, I hadn't even had acupuncture yet. And I just went for it. And it's just so cool because I was like one of the youngest people in my programs. Like a lot of people don't just graduate and start their careers, but I like really did. I've been able to move several times and start up clinics in new places and support my family. And so it's been a really beautiful career. But, one of the things that landed me in the mastermind, I didn't know who Lori Harder was. I didn't even know who the podcast host was that I had heard her on. It just came on randomly, after you listen to another one or whatever. And it was like something about how you have to put yourself in rooms where people are smarter than you. And it just landed, like I've heard that before, but it just landed in a way that I was like, this is my problem. I'm always the smartest person you are, not like in an egomaniacal way, but when you've been in a career for so long and you're repeating yourself all the time, you're like, I need to grow and I need to learn how to get there because I've had a really beautiful career and I make decent money for sure, but I could be doing so much better, right? Like I could be scaling, I could be getting my message out there in a way that's way more impactful because I haven't even tried. Like my entire business has been word of mouth only, which is beautiful. But like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what if I did try some of these things that all these guys are teaching? You know what I mean? So putting myself in a room where people are killing it and really successful, making a lot more money than me, hopefully, so they can teach me how to do it. And just getting all that set up so I can have more freedom in life and leave a legacy for my daughter and do good work in the world.
Yeah. And as you're talking, even I think about, oh, I forget her name, Dr. Maria something. She's like the menopause guru, right? And she's like your go-to gal. I could see that for you in your zone of genius. And so I love that you're in the mastermind learning how to put yourself out there more and be online more. Even if there's some resistance, because based on your website, you're very nature oriented. I could see you being on the grid and just doing your own thing and doing that and showing that and sharing that so people are like, I love that. And even if I can't go do it, I'm getting that vibe from Krishna. I'm getting it's like some people they'll tell me like Morgan, your energy is contagious, and I'm like, great. I mean, if I'm going to be contagious, I want to be a good contagion. um, and your energy is like really grounding and like smooth and welcoming. And so I could see for you your online platform growing that and sharing how you are like that and what that means and how people can incorporate that more into their life. It's almost like Jay Shetty, like he was a monk for a short time and now he wrote a book on like how to live your life like a monk, like not actually as a monk, but some of the things that he learned as he lived as a monk, how to incorporate those things into our everyday life to feel some of those things. So I could see you really sharing about. I mean, because like when I was looking at your site and it was like neuroscience, nature, ancient medicine, what was the other one? Intuition. I was like,
Intuition.
that's a lot of stuff. But it's a lot of stuff that people can't quite get a grasp on. It's not about taking a certain pill or doing a certain workout or I mean, just tell me more about how you practice with people because it's clearly effective and we're getting the word out there. So let's get the word out there. Like what does it mean to work with you and what do you take them through and incorporate the subconscious stuff and the intuition and the ancient medicine and nature? Like where does nature play into that besides grounding? You know what I mean?
No, I love that too because no one's ever asked me that. I mean, nature because cycles. Like you're talking
Oh,
about witchy, you know what I mean? Like indigenous cultures, many cultures still base their entire civilizations and lives around nature. So cycles, and just because like nature for me is God, that's where I go when I want to remember that I am more than enough. Like I have that
mm,
reflection and like incredible beauty and abundance all around me, and she just shows me that. Just to be in the trees or near the water or at the beach or looking at the sky or all the stars. Um, and so, yes, just like you were saying, broadcasting that frequency because that's where I go to fill and overflow my own cup and to unplug. And then also, I am intuitive. So even though I have a ton of trainings and skill set, I really feel like it's my intuitive data that helps people get to where they want to go. Because in any process that I get to guide, the person who's facilitating, I mean, if they have their special skills, like mine would be intuition and reflective listening, you're going to get like the special sauce of those frameworks. You're going to get to like the balance that's best for you if you're doing Psych K. And then the neuroscience, I'm not a big science girl at all, but neuroscience is like neuroscience and quantum physics. Like for me, that's where it's at because the brain can change no matter how old you are. Like you can teach an old dog new tricks if that dog wants to learn. And so neuroscience is the Psych K because we're teaching your brain how to have new perceptions, how to have new experience, how to go in a new direction, even from something you may have been stuck in all of your life. And so, yeah, it's a combination of my lenses, my skill set, my frameworks that I get to take other people through. So the Psych K is a specific process, but then, yeah, my intuition and listening will help you like get to your goals quicker. And so in a session, we'll usually get to two, three, sometimes four balances. One balance is a lot. Your life's gonna be different after one balance.
Wait, what do you
Um,
mean by balance? Say more. What do you mean? One, two,
yeah,
three.
right? In Psych K, we do what we call balances. And the balances are meant to get your brain into what's called a whole brain state. And when that happens, that's when your subconscious mind can expand and you can either the two main balances we work with is like one to help you peacefully unattach from those triggering or stressful habits or memories or behaviors. Go in a new direction. It's like you've been stuck in something for so long and then all of a sudden you can just move on. And
Mm,
imagine how powerful that is. And
mm-hmm.
then if I work with you from, more than a session or two or three, then we really get to talk about what you want. And from what you want, then we can create new programs in your subconscious mind, which, I mean, that's where it's at because you could be talking yourself into something, giving yourself pep talks, trying so hard. But if you don't have the subconscious program already in your mind, like, say, I deserve to be seen. It's safe to be seen for who I am. It's safe to be who I am. My voice matters. What I say matters. My voice has value. I have value. And you're just trying to talk yourself into that shit. It's going to be impossible or very, very, very difficult. And you're going to have to work so much harder just to like maybe front something that you're not even believing. That's why a lot of coaches can like go through all their trainings and then they can't get their business going because they don't you can't fake frequency. And so when we work with the subconscious programs, like the world and people start responding to you differently because you've done that. It's sort of like sometimes after people do balances and say we did like I trust myself, you created that program in your subconscious mind. Sometimes people think they're going to be like, big Shazam out in the world. But sometimes it's actually just so much quieter because you're just sitting back in your energy and you're not needing to prove anything. Like it's
Hmm.
so powerful, but it can be very subtle as well because you just have this new program that you're creating your life from. And then the whole brain state I mentioned earlier, that comes from something called brain gym. It's very simple exercises, similar maybe to like EMDR. You or your audience know that, where you're like crossing the midline of your body with your eyes, watching your finger, or like using things where you're changing things back and forth between hands. We do things that are similar to that in Type K to get your brain into what's called that whole brain state. It's very simple, like so simple to the point where people are like, what? I can just not be so upset about that thing I've always been upset about, or I don't have to avoid that thing I haven't been thinking about, or it doesn't make me nauseous anymore. Yeah, it can. And what I find too is that simple is very deep and very elegant. And that's something I get to help people reprogram as well, because a lot of us think it has to be difficult or arduous for it to be like meaningful or
Hmm.
to prove that we deserve it first by struggling and pushing through. No, no. And this is something that for me learning too, I mean, that was such a big life changer for me. Like, oh, it could be easy.
Oh, like a light switch. I remember years ago, I have a tattoo that says "I am enough" because I was standing in my apartment in Rancho Cucamonga, California, one day, and I was crying, and I was like, in and out of so many not healthy relationships with men, and I was like, "What's wrong with me? Like, why am I not good enough? Like, someone always doesn't want me for some reason." And I swear to you, like a light switch, it was like, wait a second. What if there's nothing wrong with me? What if it's not me? What if I'm just choosing the wrong men for me, but there's actually nothing wrong with me? And I was like, huh. And it was that. It was that simple, that easy. It was just like, boop, done. I don't know what flipped or what happened, but I mean, I was grateful.
Have you been making better choices and then since then?
Yes.
Good.
It was still a learning process though, because I still had to learn like anxious attachment stuff, and there was still some things I had to work through. But I definitely
Mm,
flipped the belief about myself that there was something wrong with me, because that
yeah.
was a belief that I was carrying around. Lord only knows why, but or for how long. And usually, like for me, my confidence coaching stuff comes from my own struggles. I wasn't confident. I didn't trust myself with how I ate, my eating habits. I had a very bad relationship with food. Then I fixed that. And then it was a bad relationship with my body, fix that. Bad relationship with men, fix that. Like, so the confidence came from my own work. And now it's like, oh, I can help women through that because I've been there, done that. And I happen to have a degree in therapy. So at least I know I have some training around it as well. For you, were there things, because they always joke, you get into being a therapist or a psychologist because you are curious about your own stuff? Were there, one, did you help your mom with the acupuncture? And two, were there things in your life that got you into this path where you were able to help yourself and then were inspired to help others, or you just always just wanted to help others?
No, I mean, I think I was the person people came to for help,
Oh, okay.
but I was really quite lost all of my life, I think, until I found acupuncture school. And that really put me
Mm,
on the path. And then, like, kind of immediately as I graduated, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this Reiki training with this other friend of ours. Want to do it?" And I didn't know what Reiki was either. And then my practice started changing like exponentially with energy work. And then,
yeah.
like I said, did that beautifully for 17 years before I was like, okay, I can do this really well with a blindfold on. It's like the zone of excellence thing. I can keep doing this. It's fine. But also, like, does it feel like work though? Am I inspired? Am I lit up? Am I on fire with it? I wouldn't say that I was burned out, but I really wanted to grow and I really wanted to try new
Mm,
things. And I think that's how I landed into Psyche and getting to do that work. And now I often will. This is another framework that came into my life that I did not know what it was and just landed. And I was like, "What's this?" And then was in the training, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And that's internal family systems. And so when people are working with me for like a longer term, I'll often use some IFS inquiry for people when they want to go deeper. So we'll often get to know somebody, and for your audience, internal family systems in a nutshell is about being with the parts of you that need your attention. And we all have parts of us. And we all have what's called the self energy, which is Morgan, that's like wise and playful and courageous and loving and present. And so the framework is meant to get you and your self energy in relationship with your parts. Ask them what they need, let them know they're not unknown. What do they need to tell you? Stuff like that. We'll often do that inquiry and then maybe finish up with a psyche balance to work with some subconscious stress or create a new program for one of those parts or for yourself. It's very artistic and very fluid and like so fun for me. But that's kind of the flow of people who get to work who I get to work with for a longer term.
I like that. Now that you're saying that, I went to school to be a marriage and family therapist, and one of the gals I went to school with, she talks about parts work. That must be the same thing. Because when we learned, we went to school, we learned talked about genograms and like building out people's the systems in which they lived. But this sounds different. I like this. This is still
Yeah,
you, but you're different parts.
yeah, it's different, and it's also really loving and gentle and compassionate. It's nothing at all like traditional talk therapy, but that too was created by a psychologist. I think
Hmm.
I listened to the podcast I listened to of yours. I think it was that therapist friend that you had on, and she was talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
What is she? The firefighter, and there's like all these different parts.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, walk me through a day. Like for you, I'm like as you probably notice, I'm high energy, like my dad. So It's like I get up and I'm going. I'm journaling. I'm practicing French. Then it's brushing my teeth. I hit the shower. I'm gonna go work out. Like I have a lot of things going on. I feel like your energy is much more gentle. So, what? Walk me through a day where you're balancing your self care and caring for others.
I mean, I love that you're asking me this because today was fucking bananas. I have a daughter who's 17 who just had ACL surgery on Thursday. So
Oh, how
she's
did that go?
I mean, she's super bummed. She's not able to move. She missed prom. She's like, was going to be team captain as a pole
Oh,
vaulter this year. You know what I mean? But she's handling it like a champ. She's honestly done so well in these couple days. She's been home, um, but she's bummed. So she's home, and because she was going to get surgery and was bummed out, I ended up with a puppy. Like I told her, I don't have time for a puppy. I don't have time to potty train a puppy. Do I have a puppy? Yes, Morgan, I do have a puppy. And then, yeah, I started my day. Well, we had Jillian's society call at 10. So a few minutes late for that. I do not like being late. And then went straight into sessions after that until I got to meet with you. I had like a half an hour, and I'm like, I'm gonna chill the fuck, and I'm gonna lay down on the couch for a little bit and just meditate, make some tea. And then I was like, oh shit, I should figure out my lighting. That's what I have. And I'm like, it's so dark. But that was my day. After this, I'll go walk the puppy, take him to the park, and then
yeah,
yeah, I get to. My daughter gets to take a shower today, so I get to help her with that.
yeah.
It's like my life right now, but it's I'm gonna be an empty nester soon. Like all this stuff is so temporary, and I know any of your audience that's parents, it goes by so quick. So I look at your life and I'm like, oh, what beautiful freedom you have to like work out in the morning, do journaling and all. But like my weekends, that's why I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to nature. I'm going off grid. I'm going to hang out by
Yeah.
some water, me and my boyfriend and our dogs. Um, and that's how I get that. I have 3 days off a week, so it's really helpful. But Monday through Thursday is
Yeah.
pretty full on. And I'm probably been speaking on like a podcast a week, and I'm in an in-person like execs networking group, which is good for just like I'm speaking to 100 people a week in that group, and it's like very like suit and tie, like country club kind of style, like not something I'd normally put myself in, but it's been brilliant for me to practice the messaging that I'm learning from the coaches at MCM. So yeah,
I
that's
love
my
that.
life right now. And I just finished my psychology degree this week. Like I turned in my last homework the night of my second daughter's surgery. This is who I am right now. But Morgan, if I didn't have Psych K to deal with all my triggers and create the subconscious beliefs like I have enough time to do everything I need, I have enough time to do everything I want, I have enough time to create my best life. Like I've created that kind of programming for myself, and then somehow I do get the shit done, and they still happen to get like 8 hours of sleep a night. And I still
I
happen to
love
work out, meditate every morning for half an hour, and eat my
Okay, there.
vegetables.
Now we're getting into it. Okay, so you prioritize sleep. I love that for you, and the meditation. That's awesome.
Yep,
Okay.
definitely. And I turn my phone off about an hour before bed, and
Hmm.
I definitely eat vegetables, and I definitely hydrate, and I take my supplements. You
I
know,
like that. So
and
it is.
yeah,
There's a balance, even within the chaos. There's
yeah,
balance.
for sure. My non-negotiables are like in place: sleep, meditation, hydration, vegetables, working out, versus
Yeah.
and nature. Like when I walk my dog twice a day, I live on the waterfront in a beautiful neighborhood in Portland, and I don't take my phone. And it's
Mm,
so nice. It's like 40 minutes twice a day on top of my half an hour meditation. But then when I'm in it for work, I'm like in it. So that's why I don't get to go to all those MCM calls, unfortunately, because I'm like,
yeah. You're
10
making
hours.
money, paying the bills.
Yes, totally.
Now, if
Yeah.
I mean, my guess is I'm like I want to like do a retreat with you and like let's hang out. Let's do some of this. But anyway, it was someone that's listening and wants to connect with you. What's your favorite way to have people reach out
Mm.
to you and connect with you?
And by the way, you should. I have pretty beautiful connections here in Portland. I have a group space. If you ever really did want to do a retreat, she's building a bigger one. I'm talking like several saunas, cold plunges, soaking tubs, where I guide breath work. We microdose with the full moon or the eclipse or whatever. But like, I've done collabs in her spaces with whomever. So if you ever were like, yes, let's do that, we can totally make that happen. And then as far as connecting with me, it's pretty old fashioned. I'm on the internet. It's just all under my name, my website or
Okay. So if someone's like, I gotta find her, I want to message her. It's not the Instagram. Go to the website.
you can do either. Yeah, you can do either. I would say that I love connecting. I'm just not on all the places on social, but I do enjoy Instagram. And then a lot of people find me on LinkedIn as well
Oh, okay.
for a reason, which is kind of cool because I feel like that's a space where people are just like ready to pay me now and kind of speaking to the people that I love to work with, which is high performing women who've done so much work, but they're like, why am I still stuck?
Mm-hmm.
They're still
Actually,
replaying the past or bracing for the future. That's
yeah.
the people. Like for people who want immediate and lasting change, that's what these processes are for. And you can do a like
Lasting and immediate. You want it to happen fast and you want it to last long. That sounds perfect. I, yes, you are an absolute delight. What I want to know is you are just, like I said, to me, grounded, spiritual, just good vibes. What would you say your motto in life is?
I would say that I am here to love and be loved. And like for me, if there is an option to follow beauty, no matter whatever shit's happening in the world or around me, I'm gonna choose the beauty way. And that's just what's making life, the most valuable for me. It's what makes life worth living.
And quite beautiful. If something in today's episode hit you in your heart, I want you to raise your hand right now because I am talking directly to you. Maybe you are dating and you have never really stopped to ask yourself what you actually want, how you want to feel, and what you absolutely will not tolerate anymore. Maybe you're in a relationship or marriage and you are still people pleasing, still saying yes when you mean no, still making yourself smaller so everyone around you stays comfortable. Maybe you were taught to be a good girl, not cause waves, not take up too much space, and you are exhausted from it. Imagine waking up and knowing exactly who you are, wearing what you want, saying what you mean, letting other people's opinions of you be their problem, not yours. That is a skill, and it is exactly what we build together. My coaching is not a formal weekly call you have to wait for. It's me in your pocket, available via text and voice note in real time as life actually happens. Like your most honest best friend, who also happens to have a master's degree and zero tolerance for you playing small. If you are ready for that, come find me. You can DM me on the Instagram, the link is in the show notes, or head to morganbarkis.com to get in touch. Until next time, stay unapologetic.